Hey guys, so my group is here today to talk about a monitoring software called Monit. This is Kaidin speaking right now, and I am in a group with Matt and John. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is what is Monit and why am I talking about it right now? So Monit is a small but powerful monitoring tool for both Linux and Unix systems. What's cool about it is it works right out of the box. So as soon as you download it, you can start using it, configuring it. It doesn't require any additional plugins or libraries, as other monitoring tools might need you to install before you can start doing certain things. It's free and open source. And on their actual website where you download the software, they have a detailed manual page. They also have a community mailing list that you can subscribe to kind of get updates on what's going on with the software, what updates they're currently doing. The only thing I couldn't find was like a dedicated forum where you can post questions and issues that you might be having with the software, which would have been kind of nice. And I know other monitoring systems have that kind of thing. So Monit originally rose to fame and became popular with the use of Ruby on Rails websites, and that's because a tool was needed that could manage many identical processes that are needed to be run on scalable Ruby on Rails sites, and then Monit kind of fit the bill with that case because it can monitor many processes. It can do automatic restarts on different services that might be failing and stuff like that, but I'll talk about that in a minute. So what exactly does it do? So Monit monitors different services across the servers, such as programs and daemon processes, that being like SendMail, SSHD, Apache, stuff like that. And it can also monitor network connections. It does automatic maintenance and repair. So if a service goes down or it goes into an error-like state or encounters an error in general, you can actually make it so it can restart a service or attempt a repair on the service, or you can just have it notify you that the service went down and to come have a look at it. So the automatic maintenance piece is really cool because it could save a lot of time. Instead of just getting notified that something's down and having it down for a while, it can automatically kind of repair the situation or attempt to repair it at least. But you can get it to do both. You can get it to kind of let you know that something went down and that it repaired it, or if it needs additional looking at. It can also monitor files, directories, and file systems. So if any file changes whatsoever, you can get an alert on it. If you want to make it so only like certain files you get notifications for if something's changed, or if you just want to keep tabs on who's kind of doing something in your file system, you can have it do that as well. So it can also monitor different resources on your systems, so CPU usage, memory, and stuff like that, which is something that every monitoring system should probably do, just to give you a rough idea of what resources and what your load averages are on your servers or on your different machines you have in your organization. This is just a simple way to like figure out what resources your machines are actually using up, so you can figure if you can add like more VMs to a machine if it's not using a lot of memory or if it's not using all of their memory. This just helps with scalability when it comes to your infrastructure. And the last thing I'm going to talk about is that it does have a interface on your web browser that you can pretty much go in, log in, and then you can use that to start, stop, restart different processes directly from the web interface. So I found that pretty cool as well.
Hello everyone, this is John Joju. Monit installation. Monit can be installed through apt-get with sudo apt-get install monit command on most Linux systems, and for Red Hat systems, Monit is part of the yum repository and can be installed with yum install monit. And from their website mmonit.com, packages for BSD based, Solaris, Linux based, and macOS systems are available to download and install. The source code for the program is available on GitHub and Bitbucket, which can be downloaded, built, and installed. And now to the pros and cons of the program. It's fairly easy to install and configure compared to other monitoring programs. The configuration syntax is easily understood and you can get started fast. It has low size requirements. It can monitor general system resources like CPU usage and memory usage on the local host. It can monitor files and file systems and not just programs. It will check for timestamps, sizes, and checksums to detect inconsistencies in the files. It's lightweight and highly scalable. It uses only around 10 MB of memory on an average. It doesn't need a monitoring server which connects and checks periodically. Monit checks everything on the local machine, so that reduces the overhead. You can take meaningful action on encountering errors, like when a service has abnormal resource usage. Monit can restart it without user prompt or shut down if unnecessary programs are running, which is not a feature on most other monitoring programs. It has built-in protocol level tests. Monit can carry out network tests. Even if a protocol is not supported, Monit can send data to the server and test its response instead. It has configurable alerts. You can set it to send an email based on usage or other scripts. It has a responsive web-based UI. You can view the performance dashboard or individual performance charts. The web interface allows you to browse servers, their network interfaces, and their performance. You can start, stop, or restart processes from the web interface remotely. The main disadvantage of Monit is that it requires processors to create PID files. Processors that don't create a process ID file won't be monitored through Monit. So this restricts Monit from being used in critical systems and environments. The default error messages don't give you much feedback if something goes wrong. So you have to go to the individual process and find its details.
It's Matthew now talking. Now we'll look at how to start Monit. It's just as simple as typing sudo monit. If successful, you should see a message saying Monit daemon awaken. You can see this on the screenshot. This slide is showing you the config file with Linux is properly set up. The next few slides will go into more detail with each step we use to configure the service. In order to access the file, it's in the directory monit and the file name is monitrc, as you can see in this slide. In this slide, we take a look at the daemon configuration. This configuration sets Monit in daemon mode. This means that Monit will run in the background of the console and monitor each service configured and then rest until the interval is reached again. We have it configured to check all services every 60 seconds. You may also set a delay on the first check the system does if needed. This is more for people who have multiple services running on boot. Rather than creating a cluster, you can set a delay for Monit to start when fewer services are starting. You can also use the -d on the command line to set the intervals, but it's highly recommended you configure the monitrc file rather than using the command line. Next, we'll talk about the email configuration that this service provides. We configured it to make Gmail an SMTP relay in order to send out alerts for any service. This tool is so useful because you cannot be looking at your services 24/7. If something unordinary were to happen to any service, you would have alerts configured so you would get an email saying what has occurred. We couldn't get any email setup done in time and went through a bunch of troubleshooting, but ultimately couldn't get it up and running. Although we wanted to make sure we showed what this service is capable of and still believe it is a great feature to have on your Monit configuration. Now is the HTTP configuration. This configuration is fairly simple. Inside the config file, you must allow Monit connection on the default port 2812 by uncommenting the line. This, like so many other features, are already commented on, as you can see from the other screenshots. Most basic configurations of the service are uncommenting a line within the file. Now in these screenshots, you can see the successful connection to HTTP. The top picture shows port 2812, which is being used by Monit, is listening. The bottom picture shows us the status of Monit, and as you can see, Monit is up and running, monitoring our system. Now this screenshot is taken from the Monit website. Because we have a minimal install VM, we unfortunately do not have an interface like this one. But as I said before, I think it is important to show the features of this service. This interface can show us the system name, processes, programs, file systems, uptime, and even the CPU usage.
Monit widget. You can follow this link for the official video showing an overview of the widget and its features. This is an extension of Monit for macOS systems. It is extremely useful for Mac users to view detailed monitor of their machine from their notification center. It shows the CPU usage, memory usage, and network usage, temperature gauge, and fan controls for the machine. It's a useful and free utility, and the alternatives to it are proprietary and paid. However, to note that as of now, the new macOS update breaks this widget and it's no longer functioning due to the way the new operating system changed notification center and is handling widgets. Thank you.